With the MLB season in full swing, I've already made videos talking about every team's most disappointing player, surprising player, so for today's video, we're just going to talk about all MLB teams' best players so far in the 2025 regular season. And we're going to kick things off with the LA Dodgers. And honestly, when I was going to be making this video, I thought I would be talking about Shohei Ohtani. No, we're going to talk about a different Japanese player, and that is going to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who got a massive contract from the Dodgers in the 2024 offseason. He had an up and down first year in MLB, but ended the season off on a strong note. This year, he has been one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the MLB so far. With guys going down left and right in that Dodgers rotation, like Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow, Yamamoto is pitching to the best ERA for all qualified starters so far, a .9 ERA in 7 games. He's pitched 40 innings on the year. He has a whip under 1 at the moment, a .435 ERA plus, and the expected numbers are all showing good signs for Yamamoto as well, so he's probably not even going to regress that much throughout the year and could definitely end up finishing this season with a sub 2.2 ERA because his FIP is around that at this moment. He's getting a ton of whiffs, he's getting a ton of chase, he's striking out a ton of guys, he's not allowing a lot of hard hits as well. The barrel rate is down this year. It's because he's using that splitter 48% of the time. He used that splitter around 42% last year. He's upped that to 48%, and it's turning into one of the best pitches in all of baseball this year. You got to go with Yamamoto on the Dodgers. For the San Diego Padres, we got to go with somebody that's also in the MVP conversation in the NL, and that is Fernando Tatis Jr., who was so good for the Padres in 2021, but then unfortunately with the injury and with the suspension in 2022, he didn't play at all, and he bounced back and still was a 5-win player in 2023, was up and down last year in 2024, and only had 102 games due to injury, but he's off to a red hot start right now. Leads the NL in batting average at a 3.45. He's got a 419 OBP, a 600 slugging, so he's got an OPS over 1,000, has already accumulated 2.5 WAR on the year, which leads all of MLB. He's got 7 stolen bases. He plays a good outfield for them, and if you look at his baseball savant, it's all red. In his xWOBA, his X batting average, his X slugging, his average exit velocity, the barrel percentage, the hard hit percentage is some of the best in the MLB right now. He's in the 95th percentile in outs above average, 99th in arm strength this year, 91st percentile in sprint speed, and his WRC plus against four-seam fastballs a 263, sliders a 219, sinker 210, curveballs 294. He has been just one of the best hitters against all pitch types this year and has definitely been the best San Diego Padre. For the San Francisco Giants, I'm going to go with Jung-Hoo Lee, another Japanese player here in the NL West, and he's gotten off to a red hot start this year after having a banged up 2024 season with injury. Jung-Hoo Lee's got off to a great start. He's already leading the MLB in doubles right now. He's got a 314 batting average, a 368 OBP. He's got 3 home runs on the year and 11 walks to 18 strikeouts. I am monitoring Jung-Hoo Lee's power at Oracle Park this year because he only has 1 home run so far, and he's not the biggest power hitter in the world. So let's see how that's going to adapt into a tough ballpark to hit home runs at, but a blend of defense, speed, contact, and a little bit of power. Jung-Hoo Lee has been the best San Francisco Giant for a team that has been a great mainstay in the NL West so far, around 7 games above 500. A big bounce back start for Corbin Carroll, who got off to an abysmal start last year after his Rookie of the Year season in 2023. He has been the best Diamondback so far, in my opinion. You could also give some love to Pavin Smith, but I'm going to talk about Corbin Carroll, who's got a 945 OPS. He's leading the MLB in triples right now. He's one of the fastest players in baseball. He's currently 97th percentile in sprint speed on the year, a 159 OPS plus, and is turning into one of the best contact hitters in the game at just 24 years old. And he's stepping up as the number 1 there in Arizona with Ketel Marte on the IL. Man, who to go for the Colorado Rockies? Everybody has been disappointing for this team so far this year, so I'm giving love to Jordan Beck, who was a top 100 prospect consensus-wise last year in the industry. He was not good when he got called up. He had a negative WAR, a 188 batting average, and 184 plate appearances, but this year, he has tapped into some power. He's got 5 home runs this year and 73 plate appearances, slugging .578, a 921 OPS, and basically is the only good hitter in this Colorado Rockies lineup this year. Tovar's been up and down. Doyle's been up and down. Don't get me started on Chris Bryant, and Jordan Beck has been the best Rocky at 24 years old. Gotta go with Cal Raleigh there for the Seattle Mariners. The big dumper has turned into one of the best catchers in baseball, but also just one of the best pure power bats in baseball right now. He's leading the MLB with 12 home runs on the season. He's been very hot as of late, including 2 home runs recently against the Texas Rangers, a division rival. He's got a 942 OPS on the season, and this is in a ballpark that not a lot of players can hit at. Not a lot of good bats come out of Seattle, but Cal Raleigh isn't one of them. He's currently 95th percentile in X slugging this year, 99th percentile in barrel percentage, and he's one of the more elite framers in this league, and he's maybe taken that crown as the best catcher, which I think has been tossed around to maybe a William Contreras, a Wilson Contreras, an Adley Rutschman over the last few years, but I think it's Cal Raleigh right now. The Houston Astros have a ton of disappointments so far this year. It could be Yordan Alvarez, it could be Framber Valdez, but they have one of the best pitchers in the league, and that is going to be Hunter Brown, who could rival Tariq Skubal for the best pitcher in the American League this year. We'll also give a shout out to Max Fried because we will not be talking about him in this video, but Hunter Brown, already 1.9 pitching WAR this season, a 1.22 ERA at the moment I'm recording this, a 1.81 FIP. Yeah, Hunter Brown is going to be elite all year long. He got off to a tough start in the 2024 season, but if you take into account his second half last year and the start of this year, he's been one of the best pitchers in the MLB. He's just 26 years old, and he kind of looks like Justin Verlander 2.0 over there in Houston. The no designation city A's have been one of the more fun young teams to watch this year. They've been around 500 all year long. You could give some love to Lawrence Butler, could give some love to Jacob Wilson, but I gotta talk about Tyler Soderstrom, who's already got 9 home runs on the year, 24 RBIs, a 280 batting average, a 345 OBP, 530 slugging percentage, and an 881 OPS this year as a 23-year-old, and he's gonna be a foundational first baseman for this young team going forward. I still wish they were in Oakland. The vibes could have been so high this year with their young core and the way they're playing, and I'm just glad that the A's aren't what they used to be, because they were just so bad in that 2023 season, and everybody has struggled, but it really feels like they're putting it all together right now in 2025. You could talk about a bunch of different Texas Rangers so far this year. You could give some love to the starting rotation of Tyler Mahle and Nathan Eovaldi, but I'm going to talk about Wyatt Langford, who's really breaking out here in year number 2. A lot of people thought he could have been the Rookie of the Year last year. He ended up finishing 7th in that award, but this year, he's been so much better. He finishes rookie year with a 740 OPS. That is up to a 929 this year in 96 plate appearances. He's playing a good corner outfield, a 294 batting average, a 365 OBP. He's also been one of the more clutch bats to start off the year as well. He's got over a 400 WRC plus in high leverage moments and a 198 WRC plus in medium leverage moments. And I think Langford is going to take advantage of the big moments here in Texas and could be their best hitter very soon after Corey Seager, if he's not already one already. You could definitely talk about Tyler Anderson for the Los Angeles Angels, but I'm going to give some love to just somebody I was so high on going into the year, and he was hurt to start off the year, so he only has 52 plate appearances, but that's Zach Neto. Neto was a first-round pick, 13th overall back in that 2022 draft, and the Angels do what they do, and they call up guys super quickly, and they fast-track them through the minors, and Neto has been off to a good start this year. Already has 4 home runs, so he could definitely get into 20 home runs like he did last year. He's already stolen 4 stolen bases. He stole 30 last year as well, and if he could just walk a little bit more this year, he could definitely be somebody that has an OPS over 850 as a 24-year-old. But like I said, you could definitely talk about Tyler Anderson, who's been off to a good start for the Angels this year. He's got a 2.67 ERA and 33 innings pitched, and is probably going to be one of the better trade candidates this July. You can definitely give some love to somebody that was a former #1 overall pick in Spencer Torkelson over there in Detroit, but I'm going to talk about Tariq Skubal, who won the AL Cy Young last year, and he's been off to just as good of a start this year. In 40 innings in 7 games, he's got a 2.21 ERA. He's already striked out 48 guys this year after leading the MLB in strikeouts last year. He's got a whip under 1, a FIP of a 2.42, and an ERA plus at a 1.77. And he could just work guys so well in counts. It could just overpower hitters as well, because he's not going to walk you. He's going to go right at you. He could produce a ton of induced vertical break, and he's going to get you to chase as well. And Tariq Skubal has probably cemented himself as the best pitcher in baseball right now. I was pretty low on the Guardians going into this year because I did not think that this was a deep lineup, but somebody that has just been a mainstay for them so far, Steven Kwan. So yeah, I'm not going to go with Jose Ramirez, who's not been off to the start he usually gets to every single year, but he's still been a solid player so far. It's just Kwan is making elite contact yet again. He's somebody that is one of the best contact hitters in the game, and he also hit 14 home runs last year, so if he can hit double-digit home runs again this year as a 27-year-old, he could be one of the more valuable leadoff hitters in the MLB. He's got a 465 slugging, a 372 OBP, and a 323 batting average, and I think if Jacob Wilson over there playing with the A's could just end up being what Kwan is right now, that is going to be a big dub for the Athletics, and I do think Kwan, like I said, is turning into one of the best top-of-the-lineup guys you can have at this moment. Easy one here for the Kansas City Royals, another team that I was kind of worried about their lineup depth around their top guy, and that's been on display this year, but Bobby Witt, in what feels like a down start for him, still has a 312 batting average, a 389 OBP, an 869 OPS, and has already stolen 9 bases this year. He's going to play a great glove at short, and he's still one of the best players in baseball at 24 years old. Maybe he's not going to be on pace to getting 9.5 WAR like he did last year and lead the MLB in batting average and hits, but Bobby Witt could just go off in the month of July, and his numbers can get very close to that. It wasn't until 2023 in the second half where he really got going and was obviously great all of 2024. He could be a 30 home run, 30 stolen base guy yet again, and a down year could be an 880 OPS, which just puts him in that elite tier of hitters in the MLB. For the Minnesota Twins, I'm going to talk about Pablo Lopez, who had a abysmal start last year in the 2024 season, at least at the start of the year, but really picked it up in the second half, and I was buying a 2025 from Pablo Lopez in a bounce-back year. He started 5 games for them this year, a 2.25 ERA, and 28 innings pitched. And he's striking out a ton of guys this year with the slider, and hitters can't hit it whatsoever, and Lopez could be a popular trade name at the deadline, but either way, he is the ace for this Twins team until further notice. Man, who to say is the best player on the Chicago White Sox this year? Because it's definitely not Luis Robert, who has been abysmal to start off the year. So I'm going to go with Shane Smith. I talked about him in the most surprising video through 6 starts and 32 innings. He's got a 2.23 ERA. He striked out 26 guys. And maybe he's a BABIP guy and he's getting a little bit lucky this year, but he still has a FIP at a 3.43. So if he ended this year with a 3.43, he's definitely going to be the top White Sox pitcher and probably their most valuable player overall. I had no idea who to go here for the Chicago Cubs because their team has been off to an amazing start in terms of their lineup. You can definitely give some love to Pete Crow Armstrong. You can give some love to Seiya Suzuki, Michael Busch, but I'm going to talk about Kyle Tucker, who's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He's going to get paid over $400 million most likely, and he has not lost a step after getting traded from the Astros to the Cubs in the offseason. Through 33 games so far this year, 285 batting average, a 394 OBP, 562 slugging, a 955 OPS, already has 8 home runs and 8 stolen bases on the year, and he could definitely win NL MVP this season. Also feel like you can go for a bunch of different guys over there in Cincinnati, so Reds fans, let me know who you would go with. Would you go with Hunter Green? Would you go with Noelvi Marte? I'm going to talk about Elly De La Cruz because I do think he's at least close to those guys right now, and the tie for me is going to be your star player. Already 13 stolen bases on the year, 5 home runs, 24 RBIs. He still commits a decent amount of errors, but obviously he can cover so much ground there at the shortstop position. He's got a 765 OPS, but I do think this is going to be the low point for him this year, and he's going to get better and better as the season goes along. He had a 5 WAR season last year. I think he's going to do the same this year and maybe even eclipse that. Man, who to go with for the Milwaukee Brewers this year? Because you could talk about Sal Frelick, you could talk about Jackson Chourio. I'm going to just talk about their ace, Freddie Peralta, because this has been one of the worst rotations in the league this year. They didn't have a ton of depth going into the year, but they also have had a ton of injuries. And Peralta this year in 39 innings has bounced back after a weak start for his standards last year in 2024. Because after they moved on from Corbin Burns, we all assumed that Peralta was just going to take that leap right away. But that's coming this year. A 2.52 ERA, a whip at around 1. He's striking out 9 guys per 9, and he's going to be one of the best pitchers in the NL Central this year. For the St. Louis Cardinals, I feel like you can go with 2 different bats this year, and you really can't be wrong with each one. You can go with Lars Nootbaar. I'm going to talk about Brendan Donovan because he's a super utility guy for this team that's finally breaking out right now as a 28-year-old. I feel like he was just a depth piece for most of his career, even though he was a great rookie, and last year was a full-time player for them and had an 870 OPS. He's actually leading the MLB in hits so far this year and missed a few games. He's got an 870 OPS, a 386 batting average, and he's going to have a very nice year here for the St. Louis Cardinals, and I would not be shocked whatsoever if he was the highest WAR leader on this team at the end of the year. And for the Pittsburgh Pirates, it's easy. It's Paul Skeens, who actually did not look like himself in his last outing against one of the best lineups in the league this year, the Chicago Cubs. He issued 4 walks, a couple solo shots, but he's still been one of the best pitchers in baseball. Through 7 games and 42 innings, he's got a 2.74 ERA. He's already struck out 41 guys, and he's striking around 8.5 per 9. Not as good to a start as he did in his rookie season, but he's still going to end up as one of the best pitchers in the National League and in the MLB in general as a 22-year-old. For the Boston Red Sox, they've had a lot of good performers this year. You can give some love to Garrett Crochet, Christian Campbell, Wilyer Abreu, but I'm going to talk about their late offseason acquisition, who's been their best bat so far, in my opinion, Alex Bregman. He's got an OPS over 1,000, a 400 OBP, leading the MLB in doubles, already 2.2 WAR this season, and has taken over as the team's starting third baseman. There's a chance he can opt out of a $40 million option at the end of the year, And he may do that, and he can get one last long-term deal of his career. He is not missing the Crawford boxes whatsoever, and he is loving Fenway so far in his age 31 season. I think there's a couple different guys you can go with here for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm just going to give a shout out to Drew Rasmussen, who really looked like a very good acquisition from the Milwaukee Brewers back in that 2021 season, because he was traded for Willy Adames, so he really needed to perform after how good Willie was in Milwaukee. And Rasmussen was good for the Tampa Bay Rays in 2021 and 2022, but injuries has derailed his last 2 years. But this year, while the Rays are monitoring his pitch count through about 5 innings a game, he's got a 2.64 ERA, 30 innings, and 6 starts. So he's been one of the best pitchers through 5 innings so far this year. He's looked a little bit rocky in the last 2 starts against Arizona and Kansas City, but I still think he's going to bounce back and be a very reliable and maybe the best pitcher for the Rays this season. Here's probably the best player in the MLB this year, and there's a reason why I can't talk about Max Fried, who's been one of the best pitchers. We got to talk about Aaron Judge. If you look at his baseball reference, everything is black because he's basically leading the MLB in every hitting category this year. And those include WAR at 3, runs at 30, hits at 52, RBIs at 32, batting average at 430, OBP at 521, slugging at 777, an OPS at a 1,298, an OPS plus of a 268, and he's got 94 total bases this year. And Aaron Judge has looked better this year to his 10.8 WAR season last year in 2024, or the 2022 season when he broke the AL home run record and hit 62 home runs. There's a chance this year that Judge could get the Triple Crown, and it looks like he's getting better and better with age. At age 33, I think he's taking the crown from Shohei as the best player in baseball until Shohei returns to pitching. For the Baltimore Orioles, you could go with Tomoyuki Shigano, but I'm actually going to talk about Cedric Mullins. I think he just beats out Ryan O'Hearn as the best positional player for this team this year, just because he's going to give you a solid outfield. Mullins this year in a walk year has got a 398 OBP, a 162 OPS plus. He's already got 6 home runs and 5 stolen bases on the year, and it's a nice bounce back year for Cedric Mullins, who looks like he wasn't going to be this valuable again in his career, and in his age 29 season, he's been more than that. For the Toronto Blue Jays, who are currently hovering around 500 on this year, you probably have to go with George Springer, because I thought Springer's career was going to take a turn for the worse this year. He had the worst year of his career last year in 2024, where he had a 674 OPS. Now, he was dealing with some injuries, but this year in 2025, he's having the best start in his Toronto Blue Jays days, and looks like he could be as good as he was for them in the 2022 and 2021 seasons. He's already got a 946 OPS, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. He's making great contact this year, and if they can get 80% of this from Springer this year, like already at a 946 OPS, I'm sure they would gladly take an OPS of a 770 from Springer in his age 35 season. When I thought about doing this video at the beginning of the year, I definitely assumed I was going to talk about Juan Soto for the Mets, but no, we're going to talk about Pete Alonso, who, like Alex Bregman, is probably going to opt out of his deal at the end of this year, because Pete Alonso has been an NL MVP candidate right now with guys like Shohei Ohtani, Fernando Tatis, and Kyle Tucker. He's leading the MLB in a ton of different categories right now, leading the MLB in hits with 40, leading doubles with 11, already has a 473 OBP, a 664 slugging, over a 1,000 OPS, and a 224 OPS plus. A lot of those numbers are at the top of the National League right now. Pete Alonso looks locked in and is going to get a very nice extension either from the Mets or a different team at the end of the year. A little bit of a shocker here for the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to talk about Jesus Luzardo, their big trade acquisition from the 2024 offseason. It was their biggest move overall, and he's been way better than Aaron Nola, who's been disappointing this year. Christopher Sanchez got hurt. Ranger Suarez started this year hurt, and he's even been better than Zach Wheeler. He's got a 191 FIP and a 194 ERA. He's leading the National League in pitcher WAR at the moment in 41 innings. He's got an ERA plus at about a 214. If they could also just get 80% of this Luzardo throughout the year, he's going to get some Cy Young votes, and it's going to look like a steal of a trade for Dave Dombrowski and the Philadelphia Phillies. For the Atlanta Braves, I'm going to give some love to Spencer Schwellenbach. I'd be okay if you talked about Sean Murphy or Marcell Ozuna, but Schwellenbach has shown that all the breakout rumblings were correct, as he's got a 2.87 ERA this year. The converted shortstop from college to pitcher now has turned into one of the better younger pitchers in the MLB, a 3.24 FIP. He's only allowed 12 earned runs this year in 37 innings, and he's probably going to end up as the best pitcher for the Braves this year. Yeah, better than Chris Sale. For the Washington Nationals, I thought this was pretty easy. It's turning into the best asset they got back in the Juan Soto trade with the San Diego Padres, James Wood. Just imagine if the Padres were able to keep James Wood in the Soto trade, and they were able to include Robert Hassel, who was probably a better look prospect at the time. But no, James Wood this year is breaking breaking out in his first full year in the majors because he looked really good last year, but didn't really show a lot of opposite field power. This year for James Wood, a 254 batting average, a 372 OBP. He's slugging at a 533 clip right now, which gives him an OPS over a 900. He's already at 9 home runs this year, and I think he's going to hit over 30 as a 22-year-old. He's turning into the best player here on the Nationals right now, and a player they are building around for the long term. He's the next Harper and Soto for them. And for the Miami Marlins, it's a player that used to be a top prospect at a time. He was a first-round pick back in the 2020 draft. He was selected 3rd overall out of the University of Minnesota, Max Meyer, who recently got Tommy John, did not play at all in the 2023 season. He struggled in 2024, but did have some good moments, and now that he's fully healthy, he has been one of the better younger pitchers in the league. 34 innings, a 3.18 ERA, an ERA plus at a 1.40 at the moment, a FIP of a 2.88, and with Pablo Lopez getting traded over the last few years, Jesus Luzardo is gone, Sandy does not look like Sandy anymore, and Yuri Perez is on the shelf. Max Meyer is currently the best pitcher in South Beach. So that is going to be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with who I called your favorite team's best player so far this year. If you did enjoy the video, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.